Yo, what up, guys? And good morning. So, here's the play by play of what's been happening over the past couple days. I'm realizing this is a strategic challenge, but it's also a new growth challenge. I'm starting to coach, like, honestly, I call it pre coaching. Pre coaching is when they have not yet signed the agreement, terms of agreement, sent the money over, but they're interested and open to you in a professional context. I don't know yet, right? We're just feeling each other out. But it's beyond a lead. It's more like, I think I would enjoy working with this person, right? So I call it pre coaching. I'm pre-coaching probably like 6 people right now, and even just in the smallest amounts. But I'm starting to feel the coaching energy. Like I've been really pushing this hard, and this is the goal. You want to be feeling this energy with people. That means success. Not feeling that, not having that. Well, all the fucking work we're doing is to generate these pre-coaching kind of relationships and conversations. So I haven't really been super aware of where the other person is at, mentally, emotionally, like how's their mental health overall. It always goes up and down, like based on how you're feeling, based on this collective thing, right? It's always going up and down. We're on these waves with people. But yeah, I gave way too much of my feminine or emotional energy away, and dude, it got depleted to like 0%, even like negative 20%. Yesterday, when I woke up, it was like it reminded me of when I was like severely depressed in my life. That has not really been a challenge for me in the past while. Sometimes you get hit with a wave, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes emotional energy is not always like I'm in bliss and gratitude and zen and the Tao, but for the most part, guys, I am consistently in a decently good headspace, and my performance energy usually is supreme. Who the fuck do you know counts their performance output this religiously? I would only count it this religiously if I was trying to maximize it and if I've been in the habit of maximizing it, because that's supreme accountability, man. So, anyways, if you look at my post today, I'm kind of just saying the same thing in all my content today. Today is the launch, day 9, solar hand. Day 9 is probably the most interesting day of the entire wave spell. If you like to track this little Mayan, time code thing that I like to do. Every 13 days is a cycle. Day 9 and day 1 are probably the most interesting days in my opinion, because 9 is like the maximization of the wave. On day 9, that's when you solar like pulse it out to the world. So what am I pulsing out to the world, especially with my content and in my community? It's seeing energy maintenance as an art form. This is the Blue Storm wave spell. Healing and activation as an art form in the terms of an awareness. So I had not really been developing that awareness. What if this person is really suffering and it's causing me to really, like, you only have so much mana or like, magic in the day. So some people may be taking a lot more of that from you. You have to think about the energetic consequence of even talking to somebody. We don't tend to like consciously think this. We tend to just kind of like, it's an attraction field, right? Whatever, you're attracting it for whatever reason. But I do think there are some people in my group that do struggle with boundaries from time to time. You want to help people and you want to be compassionate, and especially when people are really suffering. There are a lot of cancers in my group, have that kind of cancer energy. My Venus and my Mars is in Cancer. My moon is in the fourth house, which is also Cancer. So there is this kind of healing, emotional wellness kind of water sign vibe. I do attract a lot of empaths into my life, but boundaries means basically, okay, let me go into my business mind, which is like a Capricorn, Taurus energy. Like my business mind, it's just how much energy is this costing me? Okay, if I only have 100% every morning, okay, this person is running up my credit quickly, okay? Whereas let's slow that down, man. Slow down your spending, man. Slow down how much you're pulling on my energy, okay? That's not to be arrogant and say everybody's pulling on my energy. No, that's saying you only have so much energy that you can use every day. Like, we try to conceptualize this kind of like business grind, like how many hours per week, how much energy per week. Like, we're wishing we had some kind of, I do wish I had some kind of OCD, like number of like my energy, because I never want to be fully depleted. I always want to have at least 25% or 33% left in the tank. I never want to dip below that. And what by that I mean, like, I don't like feeling this burnout and total like depression, dude. Like, those are miserable vibes, man. I went into total fucking depletion, man, depression mode. I don't honestly think that was me or my energy. I think that was because I gave way too much of my energy away. Now, is that even correct? I think it's correct, but what if it's not correct? If it's not correct, then that means obviously there may be some depression in me that I'm still healing, okay? But I want to be a bit more mindful how much we're talking about these heavy things, okay? My yin energy only feels about 20-30% right now. I'm still having to recharge my yin in the heart chakra. I feel it in the actual chakra, my heart and sacrum needs a bit of recharging. So I can speak to you in the throat, in the third eye. I can even use some red. My masculine, I feel like this is a solid like 70-80%. I do feel powerful. I have been working out consistently. So I'm going to give you some more of that yang energy in this video, but I'm going to take another day today and just recharge my yin. I gave too much. I spent too much in the yin. It caused me to go into massive, overdraft. Yeah, you just don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that. It takes too much out of me and it derails me, and I don't like to be derailed. So I have to be way more conscious of like, okay, you got to monitor certain people, okay? So how many people did I really talk to which sent me into massive, burnout? There were 6 people that I talked to 2 days ago. It could be 1 or 2 of those 6. It could be all 6. It could just have been the wave of energy. I don't know, but I have to be more intelligent with my strategy. If you're suffering right now, and if we've been chatting and you're like, maybe I'm one of those 6 people, like, I'm not judging you, dude. I've been, in the trenches, but what I'm saying is then you have to, like, it's an awareness. Am I giving or am I taking energy right now? Right? If I'm like totally burnt out in the feminine and you've got some extra feminine energy and you're willing to give me some, then I'll give you some more of my masculine energy, right? I don't want to make content with the assumption that I'm always just giving and everybody's just taking. And I have been operating under that assumption for a while. Every vlog I'm just giving and then they're just taking, and you think like that's what you have to do, to earn, followers or success. Not necessarily. It can also be a relationship where your audience is also giving to you, So I don't think I've been allowing my audience to give to me. I've been feeling like I have to constantly be the one giving everything, giving my emotional energy, my physical energy, yada, my mental energy, yada, yada. So I'm allowing to receive. If you got some extra feminine energy that you want to give me, I'd appreciate it, because I got super depleted, okay? Sometimes it's retrograde, sometimes it's a collective thing, sometimes it's not even anybody in particular, sometimes it's the whole fucking world. It could be planetary transits. Like, I don't know. All I know is I felt really weird and I don't like feeling that burnt out and depleted, okay? But I don't want to be lazy either or non-productive. I still want to be productive. So what's the solution? I'm a solution-oriented guy. Then you conceptualize like what percentage of feminine versus masculine, like you have 2 sources of energy, right? Your feminine and your masculine, okay? Your feminine chakras, your masculine chakras. Feminine, it feels still like recharging 20-30%. All right. So I'm not going to be giving that. I'm going to be regenerating that and receiving on that. I do have a surplus of masculine energy today. So that's what we're using. Um, it's an exchange. I'm willing to exchange masculine energy for feminine energy, especially in the heart. That's where I need it. If you're a heart chakra person, I'm willing to exchange with some masculine. But yeah, you're on a team, you're on a network. It's a community, right? It's a network. The energy flows in, the energy flows out. So, anyways, to not get overly taxed in either of the polarities. Like if you're depleted in the masculine, you just feel physically tired. You feel physically drained, or you're feeling like low, confidence. I don't really struggle with the confidence part, but if energy feels low, what can you do? You can have more of a morning routine, you can exercise, and then you can play like motivational or positive content. That's you in your masculine programming, more masculine energy, right? Or more feminine energy. So you may play some fitness content. Eventually, I'll have all the content for you in house. My goal is to be an agency of agencies, and like every I do life coaching stuff. I do spirituality coaching stuff. I do mental health coaching stuff and therapy sometimes if I'm feeling very rejuvenated in my yin or, spiritual. But if I'm feeling, good in my masculine, then that may be performance content, motivational content, mindset content, even business success. Business success is often a masculine vibration for me, running the numbers, hitting the numbers, being very energetic, okay, maximizing in your energy, right? So that's masculine coaching. I have that. But I also do have that feminine component, so I try to provide a complete and balanced, offering. But yeah, anyways, in the masculine, we got to develop our habits, right? Develop our momentum and then hit our numbers. So if you're suffering in the feminine and the masculine is now suffering, because it's hard to be productive if you ever feel in that wall. I don't want to go there, but I'm addressing that to just address total performance output, masculine and feminine energy. Okay, so I can push some masculine energy today. I'm still recharging and rejuvenating. Maybe that sounds weird. I can switch what? Vibrations? Well, in India, they really believe there's actually 3 vibrations in like your aura. There's the Ida, the Pingala, and then the Sushumna. So there's like your spiritual body. That's when you're feeling very aligned and present in both. But if one or the other, masculine or feminine, is feeling more depleted, then you be mindful of that. Okay, I allow that to recover. But I don't have to take the entire day off. I'm not going to be using feminine energy. I'm not going to be giving any of that. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to be in my masculine today, and then I'm going to still do a little bit of healing and recharging in the feminine. So I can still push some masculine energy though, and I can still be productive today, is what I'm trying to say. That doesn't mean I'm going to just be a couch potato because I need more healing. But like, if you feel like you have a surplus of either of the energies, then you should try to use that and be productive, right? So I'm playing around with this concept of like always keeping 33% in the bank. Pay yourself first. It's like having a savings account. I'm going to have a savings account emotionally of 33%. I'm just never going to dip below 33% in my masculine or my feminine, vibration. So that's also a different kind of mindset that I'm playing around with. Like, people say you got to give 100%, but that's not necessarily a good strategy. That's not even a good strategy at the gym either, because I did a 100% leg workout, and I was sore for like literally 4 days in a row, and then I didn't go to the gym for like 5 more days. Do you know what I mean? And I would have preferred to have not gone that hard and not needed so much recovery and healing. Similarly, I can give everything that I've got, emotionally, mental health, healing, but then that'll cause me to go into massive fucking spiral, which is what happened. I don't think that was me. I think that was me giving everything away mentally. I was talking about a lot of serious things, mental health, diagnosis, blah, blah, blah. So I've been having I'm changing the way that I'm saying it. I've had a tendency to do that, but now I'm realizing and correcting myself when I do that. I think you need to have some kind of reserve amount, whether that's 20% or like 33%. You should imagine having some reserve amount of just like masculine and feminine energy. I don't ever want to go into overload because that's burnout. It takes a lot longer to replenish that first 20%, that first 33%. If I'm always at 20, 33%, then it's much easier, it's faster. Therefore, it may be more efficient. It may be a better strategy. It may be more intelligent, more aligned to do what I'm saying. Okay, so let's not get into burnout. Let's not give more than I'm imagining 6 charges, 3 in the feminine, 3 in the masculine. So I'm going to keep that last charge for myself. I'm going to pay myself first. That's having a savings account. That's saving your energy. So you should try to imagine saving some of your energy as well. Imagine having an energy savings account. Okay, so if you have an energy savings account, you'll never be totally burnt out because you'll always have a surplus that you can pull on. So that's a weird thing to think, but I'm going to think that way, right? You want to be better with your money, you want to be better with your energy. So let's imagine an energy savings account. I'm going to pay myself first. I'm always going to deposit an amount of my energy into that momentum. Like your energy savings account is also like your momentum. You're depositing some energy today into your future energy, which is your momentum. But you also want to keep a certain amount in conclusion. You know, all right. So, anyways, so I'm gonna recharge and replenish in my feminine, in my masculine. I may hop on here throughout the day if I feel like I have some more to give, but it's also like not beating yourself up about what your limits are. If you hit your limit and you're like, nah, I'm definitely down to 33% or 20%, it's gonna be one of those two numbers. I'm either going to conceptualize 20%, so that means I have 5 charges and I keep 1, or I'm going to conceptualize 25%, 4 charges, and I keep 1, or I'm going to conceptualize 33%. Right now, since I'm feeling depleted, I'm going to imagine 33%. I am going to keep 33% of my energy at all times. When I give that, you could literally give someone 70% of your energy in just one conversation. Have you ever talked to somebody and afterwards you feel really drained? What happens? That means you literally did give them 50, 60, 70% of your energy at least today before you regenerate it. And so that's why coaching does not necessarily feel like an hourly job. It's not like a 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours today job. We're trying to say, I want to maximize my output, relationally, emotionally, and then productivity wise. That's where we're trying to say that. But there are times where you could literally talk to somebody or many people, and then you feel just exhausted from it. Do you know what I mean? So we have to limit, because it's what if it's a client and they want to keep pulling on your energy and they're really suffering? So you have to kind of pre-frame the expectations, guys, going into this. If any of you guys ever hire me, we have to be very mindful, because you guys have your own clients too. So it's you have to kind of imagine it's a red kind of metal kind of brace that you have to put over, the client expectation. So this is done up front in the terms of agreement in the, that you both sign. It would be under a category called energetic expectation. I'm literally going to outline this because you have to it's called pre-framing. You have to pre-frame the expectations going into the coaching. You're going to say, hey, I am an empath. I feel people's energy intensely. So I just need you to know, I'm always going to have a certain amount of energy that I need to keep, for myself. If topics can become too heavy or very intense, so we can dip into some of these heavier things, but I'm just letting you know, in order for me to serve you better, and I still have to provide for myself and my family, family of one, but still my family. Like I just can't be going too heavy all the time, guys. Okay, like you shouldn't have to say that, but sometimes people just they don't realize they're pulling way too much on your energy, right? Like, hey, dude, we need to like tone it back a little bit, man. This is pretty heavy. There are polite ways to do this, right? Hey, this is pretty heavy. Let's revisit this when we're feeling, maybe a bit more mindful or like feeling like we have more presence. Okay, that doesn't mean you're unconscious right now and I'm judging you. It means this is a little heavy, let's come back to this. Like people that have emotional fucking meltdowns publicly in a group and then kind of embarrass themselves. Oh man, like you just kind of imploded publicly. you know I'm not sure that was such a great thing to do. Maybe it's attention seeking or whatever, or like I don't know, you're just voicing your. I've I've done that in the past, and I have been vocal and destructive. Okay, but you have to think. When a lot of people read that, how are they going to feel about you? Would that make people want to work with you, or would that make people think like, oh, I want to stay away from you? So I also have to be mindful of the way that I make content, because when someone comes in and they see that it's a rage post, they don't know if that's who I really am. You know what I mean? I don't know. So it's all strategy, right? It's all strategic. Like you have to always be thinking like, is this the correct thing to post? Maybe it is the correct thing to post and you're being authentic with yourself, and you should be authentic with yourself. Maybe that's not the best thing to post. Like, how do you know? You're never going to know. You're just trying to access your intuition, which is like a higher version of yourself that may know a little bit better. There may be a version of yourself that's more aligned to the truth, or more sentient, or more intelligent. So we're trying to tune into that version of ourselves. It's just called your higher self or your third eye chakra. Anyways, so yeah, I'm still regenerating. If you've got some feminine energy, send that my way. I've got masculine energy, so we can connect in that regard. I'm not a taker. We're giving and we're taking. We're giving and receiving. Okay. I have no problems receiving, but you never want to pull on someone too much, because it's gonna intimidate them or make them feel weird. Or they may be a giver, and they may struggle with saying no, but it's actually causing you to kind of affect them, and then it's gonna affect them, and then they're gonna feel like, oh, he's always just wanting more than I can give. And I don't want to say no, but right, it's gonna make them uncomfortable. When you make them uncomfortable, they're not gonna be as wanting to like keep that channel open. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to like, I want people to feel comfortable, but I also am authentic to myself and my brand. My brand is, dude, sometimes I'm a shit starter in my masculine, okay? I hope you see that I'm a lovable guy. Most of the time, I'm just trying to have fun. Sometimes we do got to put the pedal to the metal, man. Stop fucking dicking around, Like, there's work to be done, like, okay? This is very difficult. Do you need more healing in your masculine or feminine or whatever? Do you need more activation in your masculine? Do you need more healing in your feminine? I need more healing in my feminine today, right now. Okay, in my masculine, I actually am feeling pretty energetic today. I had two really great workouts Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm tracking everything, guys. I'm tracking my numbers. When I circle it, if I work out, I circle it in a different color. And then I'm tracking my business primarily, my outbound, my outreach, okay, developing conversations, booking calls, okay? Pre-coaching, people that I'm already starting to pre-coach. Those are the people that you're going to put into your CRM. Those are your leads, those are your prospects. It's a process of warming up. Once they are like asking you questions and you're pre-coaching them, okay, does not mean jump down their throat, they're going to pay you now. It means they may be more open to it than an average person. Okay, you're trying to develop that relationship up until the point where you feel like it may be appropriate to then, ask them about working together or not. But you're still pre-qualifying them. I want to make sure you're not a crazy person. I want to make sure you're not suicidal or psycho or like on really hard drugs. Those are red flags, because that's going to affect my energy, bro. That may interfere with my business. It may cost me too much of my own energy and wellness than what you're actually paying me for, right? Like, so you also have to think, just because they pay you your full ask, there is also an energetic effect of working with somebody. For instance, in my other businesses, there's been times where you're not sure if that person is like a tweaker or like a drug addict or like, mentally disturbed. That may cost you way more money, way more energy than they're paying for. Even if they're paying you a lot, it still might not be worth it. They may be paying you, say one to $5,000, but it may be costing you $10,000 over the lifetime of the relationship, like legitimately. So just because someone throws money at you or offers you your full ask does not mean that that's actually worth it for you. Do you know what I mean? So you also have to know when to be selective. Right, monkey? This one loves to take all my energy. Uh, but you are cute. But you are cute. Look at those little mittens. Look at those little mittens. Huh? But you are cute. Well, this one I just have to put her outside the room. She's like, I'm being a little clingy right now. I have working to do, monkey. I have to work. I have working. She's a very cute kid. Very cute kitty. Hi, monkey. All right, guys. Anyways, hope you have a nice day today. And if this is relevant, then comment or post in the community. Have you ever struggled with boundaries, giving too much? Or have you ever had clients where it's like they're asking for the fucking sun and the moon and the stars? And you're like, dude, like, this is not even worth what you paid me. Okay, so we want it to be worth what they paid. We want it to be a healthy client relationship. We want it to be constructive and a win-win. You don't want it to be a win-lose, right? Like, they may win, you may lose. Okay, you may win, they may lose. No, I want it to be win-win, guys. Win-win. All right? Much love. I may hop on here a bit today, but I still got to recharge this feminine. I'm going to be really mindful of, like, where is this person's mental health at? That's the thing. Like, you want to help people. You want to be a giver. I am an empathic person. I am a healer in my feminine. Like, I am a giver in my feminine, but you can't be giving so much to where it's like, oh, dude, I felt the intense pain, I don't know, man. Is that in me or was that in them? I'm not even sure. Was that a part of me that got triggered, or like, was that just me over giving? Like, I don't really know. All I know is all you can do is try to be more mindful of it, right? Try not to let yourself get depleted to that level. That was too much. Okay, so every day when I meditate, I'm trying to imagine setting a wall, setting a ceiling. This is called having a constraint, a parameter, which is do not ever get more depleted than 33% in both your masculine and your feminine energies. I guess I'm weird in the fact that I'll say shit like this, but like, you can program your energy, right? You can program reality. So that's what I'm programming. I'm trying to drive as much masculine energy and feminine healing as possible. I'm trying to increase my limit. I'm trying to increase that number, that account, but never go below. Try to have an energy savings account. And that may be in the forms of a momentum, but also a reserve amount. All right, guys, much love.